But then again, saying when faced with dilemmas of like, okay, how do we improve representation for like trans people? Do you think that women and men can actually work in the or function in the workplace? As a matter of fact, let's bring that one up. Let's bring that one up. Jordan Peterson, women in the workplace, makeup. Okay, let's take a look at this, right? So this is he did on Vice a few years ago. Why women wear makeup at work, right?
Is there sexual harassment in the workplace? Yes. Should it stop? That'd be good. Will it? Well, not at the moment it won't, because we don't know what the rules are.
Do you think men and women can work in the workplace together
I don't know.
without sexual harassment?
We'll see.
We'll see. How many years will it take for men and women working in the workplace together
More than
to
40.
get a sense?
We don't know what the rules are. Like, what? Here's a rule.
Don't
How about
you-
no makeup in the workplace?
So he's saying that like, oh, we don't know what the rules are, so let me go ahead and spitball here. Let me go ahead and propose one. Don't wear makeup to work, woman. Don't do it. Because you'll be arousing me, and you should basically the argument that he's giving is this is the closest thing to an intellectual argument for they're asking for it, or even to be more crass, you can grab them by the pussy because you can basically. And the thing is, I don't know what the hell this man is talking about. I mean, I've been learning about sexual harassment since my very first job, even before that, and they tell you specifically what the rules are and what is considered sexual harassment. If you don't agree with that shit, then you need to go find a different job. You know what I'm saying? And this is an example of there being, enforcement in order to bring about justice and equality. You know what I'm saying? He talks about like, oh, get your own room in order and don't just stop there and blah, 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 blah. Okay, and guess what? Women and a certain number of men up and down the hierarchies and just society at large have decided, you know what? We've gotten our rooms as clean as fucking possible, but everybody else keeps shoveling their bullshit into ours and expecting us to just deal with it. Right? But they choose not to be dealing with it anymore. And somebody like him who is resentful of those changes is expressing openly what he really feels about it. He just said, what about this? We don't know what the rules of sexual harassment are. We don't know if men and women can actually work together, even though they've been doing so for thousands of years in different ways. And just for and if you just want to use the example of like since like diversity measures, or not diversity measures, but like equality measures and civil rights and all that shit, then just within the last century and everything. But even then, this isn't even like a traditional mindset. This is just a religious fundamentalist one, like, oh, men and women cannot be around each other, or if you do, then women need to do what they can to not be arousing to men and not get too much attention from men, as opposed to men just showing fucking restraint and focusing on what they need to focus on at work.
Why would that be a rule?
Why should you wear makeup in the workplace? Isn't that sexually provocative?
No.
It's not?
No.
Well, what is it then? What's the purpose of makeup?
Some people would like to just put on makeup.
Why?
I don't know why.
Why do you
people
make
put
your
on-
lips red? Because they turn red during sexual arousal. That's why. Why do you put rouge on?
Are you sexually aroused, Jordan Peterson? Them lips is looking pretty rosy red to me.
your cheeks? Same reason.
I mean, look.
How about high heels?
What
are they
What
for?
about high heels?
What about them? They're there to exaggerate sexual attractiveness. That's what high heels do.
We like the girls in the pump and the bump. We like the girls in the pumps with the bump. We like the girls in the pumps with a bump. We like the girls with the pumps and the bump.
Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't use sexual displays in the workplace. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that that is what they're doing. And that is what they're doing.
Do you feel like a serious woman who does not want sexual harassment in the workplace, do you feel like if she wears makeup in the workplace that she is somewhat being critical?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do think that.
And the dude at the end, it doesn't sound, it kind of cut off a little bit, but he says, do you think they're being hypocritical? Basically, he's like, oh, do you think they're being hypocritical? Do you think they're being hypocritical if women wear makeup and then they get, sexually harassed? It's basically like, what do you expect when you go out dressed like that? Or they were asking for it. You know what I'm saying? What do you expect? Do you expect men to behave themselves and not, harass you while you're at work and everything just because you decided to put on makeup or you happen to be especially attractive? Sounds like he just like to hear himself talk. it's not just that. He has a particular philosophy that he's found a way to make himself rich off of it, but also tap into the anger that a lot of people, the resentment that a lot of people feel from these changes, these advances in society being made. I can't believe people actually eat up what he speaks about, but you know what? Not surprised at all. True. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that's what they feel. They'll never say it. They'll try to, dance around it. Kind of like the people, kind of like that person that was in here a little while ago and was trying to tell me that he's not against trans people. The stuff that they call progressive is, when you actually examine it, it's just racism and sexism, but it's couched as affirmative action. And then I get them to actually show me an example, and they bring up the exact opposite of racism and sexism is about being more inclusionary and bringing more people to the fold whom otherwise wouldn't have these opportunities because they would either not know about them or they would be excluded from them from biases from other people or just not being within, consideration. But no, that's why the term reactionary, why we use the term reactionary in certain circles, because they're reacting against specifically progressive, left-wing, and or just liberal initiatives in society, which are usually about giving more rights and liberties to marginalized groups. But that's what he is. They'll never come out and just outright say that because they know how it will come off. But that is exactly what they are. And that's what he is. And he is just one that happens to be, you think he's bad, he's considered one of the most sophisticated speakers on these, like, propagators of these values. He's considered like the intellectual, the philosopher, the narrator, right? Like, for real. Around the world, not just in the US, but around the fucking world.